The old mansion loomed over the quiet streets of Nashville, Tennessee, like a specter of forgotten nightmares. I had heard the rumors, the whispered tales of its dark history. They called it the Holloway House, and it was said to be haunted, cursed even. But curiosity had gotten the best of me, and I couldn't resist the urge to explore its depths. The evening was unusually cool for a Tennessee summer, and a heavy mist hung in the air as I parked my car a short distance from the mansion. The moonlight struggled to pierce through the thick canopy of ancient trees that surrounded the property, casting eerie shadows that danced along the overgrown path leading to the front door. As I approached, the mansion's towering, dilapidated facade became clearer. The Holloway House was a macabre masterpiece of Gothic architecture, its once stately columns now chipped and crumbling. The windows, long bereft of glass, stared at me like empty eye sockets. A shiver ran down my spine, but I couldn't turn back now. I stepped inside, and a gust of cold wind rushed through the open doorway, sending a chill through my bones. The interior was as unsettling as the outside. The air smelled of mildew and decay, and the walls were covered in peeling wallpaper, revealing patches of rotting wood beneath. It was as if the mansion itself was decaying, slowly withering away in some unholy fashion. The creaking floorboards beneath my feet added to the eerie atmosphere. I moved through the dimly lit hallways, each step echoing through the empty house like a whisper from the past. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that unseen eyes followed my every move. My heart pounded as I entered what seemed to be the living room. A tattered, once grand piano stood in the corner, its keys covered in dust. A broken mirror hung above a crumbling fireplace, its shattered shards reflecting my trembling figure. I watched myself in those fragmented pieces, wondering if I had made a terrible mistake. A sudden sound drew my attention away from the mirror, a faint, mournful melody emanating from the piano. My breath caught in my throat as I stared at the instrument, its keys moving of their own accord, playing a haunting tune that sent shivers down my spine. I took a step back, my heart racing, but the music continued, growing louder and more desperate. Unable to resist the urge, I approached the piano cautiously. As my fingers brushed the cold keys, the music ceased abruptly, leaving me in a chilling silence. I stood there, paralyzed with fear, until a voice whispered in my ear, "Help me." I spun around, but there was no one there. The voice had come from nowhere and everywhere all at once. Panic gripped me as I stumbled backward, trying to escape the oppressive presence that enveloped the room. In my frantic attempt to flee, I found myself in a narrow corridor, the walls closing in on me. The air grew colder, and my breath formed misty clouds in front of my face. The walls seemed to pulse and throb with a malevolent energy, and the floor beneath me felt as though it were shifting like quicksand. I stumbled and fell to my knees, the darkness closing in around me. It whispered terrible secrets, and I could feel unseen hands grabbing at me, pulling me down into an abyss of despair. I screamed, but my voice was swallowed by the darkness. Suddenly, a blinding light pierced through the shadows, and the oppressive force receded. I found myself back in the living room, gasping for air. The broken piano stood still, the mirror above the fireplace shattered, but the room was no longer as foreboding as it had been. I stumbled out of the mansion, my heart still pounding, and the mist outside seemed to have dissipated. I collapsed on the overgrown path, gasping for breath and thanking whatever forces had spared me. As I made my way back to my car, I couldn't shake the feeling that the Holloway House had tried to claim me, to pull me into its cursed depths. I knew then that the stories were true, that the mansion was haunted by something malevolent, something that hungered for the living. I never returned to the Holloway House, and I never spoke of my experience to anyone. The memory of that night still haunts my dreams, a reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the most unsuspecting places. Nashville, Tennessee, may be known for its music and hospitality, but beneath its surface lies a sinister secret. The Holloway House, a place where the past never truly rests, and the horrors that dwell within are all too real.